What would it feel like to be truly, deeply happy, regardless of your circumstances? Did you know that happiness is a choice and not a result? That you can create your life on purpose? Join us now to learn more. This is the Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. And here's your host, mindset coach, and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. And today we are going to be talking about self-care. Today, I am going to be really frank and open with you because I think it's important for us to really understand what might be causing us to not practice the good self-care for ourselves. And I used to live that way, so I understand this very, very well. So on Time to Rise and Thrive, what we do here is we're here every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern live, and then it becomes a recording. So you can go back onto inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and you can find all of the episodes if you search either Jackie Mott or Time to Rise and Thrive. So if you miss something, or if you decide that maybe you need to have a quiet place where you can listen to the show to absorb the things, whatever it might be, you can find all of those recordings on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. We're also on YouTube. We're on a whole bunch of other places. So on Time to Rise and Thrive, what we do here is every Friday, we talk about mindset issues. We talk about subliminal soundtrack, how to get that working for you rather than against you. We talk about starting to recognize and understand your value, your unique beauty, and the contribution that you are to the world. And that is really what today's show is going to be about. How can you be the biggest contribution to the world, to the people that you care about, if you are not taking good care of yourself? It's something to consider. It's actually a really good question to ask yourself. So today, again, why does it matter? Why does self-care matter? We're going to be talking about why it's important. We're going to be talking about how to incorporate that into your world. And I'm just going to tell you that a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about today comes from an article that I wrote several years ago. It is called, what is it called? 5 Reasons You Need to Be a Top Priority in Your Own Life. So if you would like that article where it actually goes deeper than we're going to have time to dig into on the show today, contact me. Let me know. I'm happy to send it out to you. You can reach me at jackiemott.com through the website. You can also email me at jackie@jackiemott.com, or you can reach out on Facebook, find Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert. I'm going to be tripping over my tongue today. Yay. So find me in any one of those ways, and I will happily send you out a PDF copy of the 5 reasons you need to be a top priority in your own life, because it is essential. It is absolutely vital that you are taking good care of yourself. And as we go through today's show, we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to help you see if you're someone like I used to be, where I would honestly get angry. Somebody would say, "Oh, you need to practice better self-care, Jackie." And I would be like, where am I going to work that into my life? How am I going to work that into my life? So there was a massive mindset shift that had to take place for me in order to really understand why this needs to be a priority, to really understand that it's not really that hard to do. I don't know what I thought it was, but it's not as complicated. It can be a lot more simple for us to practice good self-care, even when we're busy, even when, we don't feel like we have the time. It can be so easy for us to incorporate something into our world. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm excited about today's show. So first things first, we're going to talk about this subliminal soundtrack. What does that mean? So subliminal soundtrack is my terminology for the loop of messages that plays in the back of your mind all day, every day. It's made up of little bits of information that you've picked up throughout the course of your life. So every situation you've ever had, every relationship you've been part of, every lesson you've learned, every conversation, every single experience has given you little bits of information that you've collected and stored back there on that subliminal soundtrack. We use that information to create our belief systems about everything. This thing is like, it touches every part of our lives. What does it mean to love or be loved? What does it mean to feel fulfilled? What does it mean to have or not have money? All of that is wrapped up in those messages that are playing on that subliminal soundtrack. So it's very important for us to get clear on what's playing back there. And a lot of times we've got really great stuff. I had somebody actually say to me one day, well, this is that situation, that very difficult situation caused me to go in a different direction. So it was very interesting because she thought that, the subliminal soundtrack, we needed to shift that message. But the truth of the matter is, if it's supporting you in creating the things for yourself that you really want to create for yourself, you don't need to change that. What we want to do is we want to focus our attention on the ones that are creating limiting beliefs, the ones that are telling us that we aren't capable enough, that we aren't pretty enough, that we aren't smart enough, all of those kinds of things, or that we don't have the ability to go after the things that we want in our lives, that maybe we don't deserve the things that we want to have in our lives. Those are the ones that we want to target. And we shift those around and we create new belief systems that actually help support us as we move forward toward the things that we desire. So there are a couple of really fascinating things about this in my experience. The first one is that what we believe to be true will be true for us, even if it's based on completely incorrect information. The second is that we create our circumstances to support the belief systems that we carry. So if you believe that money is hard to come by, you are going to create your circumstances so that money's hard to come by. If you believe that relationship is hard, then you are going to attract into your world and bring into your world people with whom it's going to be difficult for you to have relationship with. Do you see what I'm saying? So it really is the thing that defines everything in our lives. And here's the really good news. You can change it. You can change it. So if you have been trying for so hard for so long, right? You're trying so hard for so long to do this thing that you really would like to do, and it's just not working. Very often there's something back there that's creating the block, that's creating the limitation, that's not allowing you to move forward. The really interesting thing, we hear about this all the time, right? These people who win millions of dollars in the lottery, and a few years later they're broke. And often they're not just broke, but they're also heavily in debt within a few years. So when we hear about that, I always think, okay, so what is their belief system around money? Because the truth of the matter is that if you have a positive, healthy relationship with money and you believe, wow, I've got millions of dollars, I could invest it, I could do so many things with that, right? You could potentially never have to worry about money for the rest of your life if you have the right relationship with money. If you don't, then what you're going to do is you're just going to spend it and spend it and spend it and spend it until it's gone. You will rid yourself of the money because it doesn't support the belief system that you carry. Yes. So we can change this stuff. That is the really great news. And that is what I do. I love working with this stuff. I find every story and every situation absolutely fascinating. And it's not even that difficult to do. So one of the things I'll tell you right now is that you can go to the website jackiemott.com and you can find another article download that I wrote, which is called 5 Steps to Create a Mindset Wired for Success. That is completely free of charge. You sign up for the email thing, we send it off to you. And then if you want more information, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. And now that things are starting to open up again, I am so looking forward to starting to get back out to speaking in front of groups and stuff. I'm so excited. All right, that's another story. So how does this subliminal soundtrack sort of fit in with what we're talking about today, this idea of self-care? If you believe, like I used to, that it is your job to meet everyone else's needs because your mom or wife or, dad or whatever it is, okay? If you believe that it is your job, mhm, if you believe that there's some sort of honor in exhausting yourself, these are some of the things that I used to have, okay? Some sort of honor in exhausting myself. It was almost like a martyrdom, right? Like I'm exhausting myself because I'm a good mom. I'm exhausting myself because I'm a good whatever. Okay. Like put the word that fits, a good employee, a good partner, a good whatever. But I exhaust myself to meet your needs. That is really kind of messed up. And what's going to happen is that you are very likely going to end up in a place where you either have some sort of mental health stuff going on, where you create resentments, where you maybe you're depressed. There's so many different ways. And in the extreme, it can actually create dis-ease in your body. Dis-ease. Okay. So I'm not talking about anything specific, but dis-ease is basically the lack of ease within your body to function. So you will create these blockages. You'll get your stress level will be high, your cortisol levels will be high, your so many other things, heart attacks, strokes, all of that kind of stuff can be the result of long-term not taking proper care of yourself. We know this. We know this. So let's look at the flip side. If you believe that you need to take care of yourself in order to show up as the best version of you, right? If you believe that when you fill your own tank, you actually have more to give to the other people that you love, or to your job, or to whatever that is, or even that you just deserve to enjoy your life. You deserve to enjoy your life. Have you actually really thought about that? These are things that I did not understand for a very, very, very long time. And I created a life that wasn't very happy for myself because of those belief systems. Okay. You deserve to enjoy your life. So when you have that belief system, or that set of belief systems, then you will find a way to carve out time to do your self care. Now, it may not be, this great big long, I don't know, maybe it's not going to be a trip to a spa. Maybe it's going to be, I'm going to go and get my hair done, or a mani-pedi. Maybe it's going to be like, there's so many different ways to do this. And it doesn't have to require a lot of time or a lot of money. We're going to get into some of that stuff later in the show, some ideas of how you can fit this into a busy life. And also why. Why do we do that? Why do we need to do that? So when you have these the priority in your own life, let's just focus on that for a minute. We've only got a couple of minutes before we go to break, so we'll focus on that thing. But when we believe that we need to be a top priority in our own life, we're going to show up completely differently. We are talking about self-worth. We are talking about honoring ourselves in a way that we would do for anybody else. Here's something very important. If you would not treat or expect to treat or expect it to be okay for someone else that you love to be treated a certain way, then you need to look at the stuff that you're allowing in your life. We need to look at those things because we teach people how to treat us. I think that was an Oprah line, and I don't know where it came from before her, but we teach people how to treat us. So if we are constantly allowing ourselves to become exhausted in order to meet those people's needs, we're allowing it. We're teaching them that it's okay for that to be the case. When we require something, when we require reciprocation, when we require that we need to be a contribution to each other, the whole dynamic shifts. The whole dynamic shifts. And that's where you start to develop those healthier relationships. It is not a healthy relationship if you are constantly exhausting yourself and not receiving something, not having your own tank filled up by the people that are around you. Those aren't healthy relationships. Those are ones that deplete you and deplete you and deplete you. And yeah. So self-worth for me was one of the biggest things that I had to work on shifting. And in all honesty, that took me several years. It took me several years. So this is why sometimes it can be important to, learn about these things, watch the show, read books, call me, join one of my sessions, something like that. It's important for us to do that because when we do that, we're actually looking to someone who knows what they're talking about. Like I didn't read most of this stuff. I didn't read in a book. This is hard-won life lessons. And some of them were very difficult and some of them were very painful. And what I've been able to do is take that information and condense it so that I can help people move more quickly through that stuff. And that if that had been available to me, that would have cut years off of my suffering. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is why I do what I do. I want people to be empowered. I want people to be happy. I want people to understand that they are at least as important as everybody else. At least. Okay? So that's why we're here. That's why I do what I do. So we do have to head to our break. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about why is self-care important. We're going to talk a little bit about the hows and that kind of stuff. So stick with us for a moment. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. And today we are talking about self-care. Why does it really matter? Why does it really matter? And what is it? What is it to do this self-care thing, right? So I mentioned earlier that there was a part of me that used to get really angry when I would hear, and I want you to pay attention to this, okay? Because this is what happens. This is what happens. I would get angry. I'd be like, where am I going to fit that into my world? Who has time for that? Who has time for that? Now, if you are that person, if you are having that kind of reaction, that will tell you definitively that you need to do some work on this, that you are not taking very good care of yourself. Okay, so there's this idea of martyrdom. Now, we all have an idea of what that means, right? Like that's somebody who lays down their life for another person, for a cause, for something. They are willing to put their life on the line. So how much satisfaction or fulfillment or whatever do you get from being that martyr? How much does that mean to you? How much value are you putting on that particular type of role for yourself? Very important to consider this. The other side, well, it's not even the other side, it's actually part of the same thing. Again, we're talking about self-worth. We teach people how to treat us. We teach them how to treat us. So if I allow myself to become a doormat, if I allow that to happen, then some people might pick me up and say, no, you're not, you're worth more than that. Hopefully somebody does. But if I allow myself to become a doormat, how can I blame other people when they wipe their feet on me? I want you to really think about that. If I allow myself to become a doormat, then how can I blame other people who wipe their feet on me? You must value yourself enough because you matter. Like this is the piece that it was so hard for me to understand. You matter not because of what you do for others or what you can do for others. You matter simply because you are worthy. You are a miracle. You are brilliant and beautiful in your own right, whatever that looks like, whatever that means to you. You are here to make a contribution. You are perfectly created with all of your flaws, with all of your gifts and all of that. You are perfectly created as you are right now. Do you understand that? If you don't, please stick with me for the rest of the show. This is so important to understand. And when I actually started to get it, that wow, like I don't have to prove my worth. I should not have to prove my worth every single day. I should not have to earn somebody's love or attention who wants to be part of my life. I should not have to do that. Love is a gift, it comes free. Would you do that to other people? Do you have a price tag on your love that you give to other people? If you were the person that I'm talking to today, if you are someone who's built like me, I would lay money that you don't have a price tag on the love that you give to others. That's love. So we attract those people into our world, right? We attract those people into our world who will treat us in relationship the way that our belief systems tell us we should be treated in relationship. In the extreme, this can result in so many ugly things. It can result in, abuse or gaslighting or other things of that nature that cause people to be torn down. Now, you allow it, and that's the hard truth. You allow it, but you allow it because you have those subliminal soundtrack messages that are telling you that you're not worthy of consideration, of care, of respect, of whatever it is. We carry those messages, they create our belief systems, and we create the circumstances to support the belief systems that we carry. So we've got to get a handle on this. We've got to get a handle on this. So what happens when everyone else's needs are being met and yours aren't? What happens to your body? What happens to your being? What happens? Now, this is a tough subject to talk about. And quite frankly, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it before either, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand all of these things that I'm sharing with you right now. I didn't understand that my mere presence on this planet, in this home, in those activities, in those relationships, I didn't understand that my mere presence was a contribution to those people, to those activities, to those organizations. I didn't understand that. So I thought that I had to do. I was looking for my self-worth to come from outside. I was not understanding that I am an amazing creature, that I bring wonderful things to the people that I love, that I am capable of all kinds of wonderful, magical stuff. One of my friends actually, she calls me a kitchen witch. I like to cook. I love to cook when I'm cooking for other people. And she pointed this out, I don't even know how many years ago, but she said to me, this is one of the ways that you show love to people. When you cook, you could cook the same thing as me, but it tastes different because you put so much love into what you're cooking. Do you see what I'm saying? So whatever it is that you do, maybe it's that you are someone who keeps a really tidy, comfortable home. Maybe you're someone who goes out there and works really hard to bring in the money to meet the needs and desires of the people that you love. Maybe you're someone who just is that soft place to land. for the people that you care about when things are tough. It could be anything, and it could be a combination of many, many, many things. It's important for us to understand that our mere presence is a contribution. Our interaction, our effort, our concern, our emotion, our whatever it is a contribution to everyone that we touch. It's important for us to understand, because then we stop looking for our self-worth outside. Then we start to understand. We understand our value. We understand our unique beauty. We understand that life on this planet would not be what it is without you on it. Life on this planet would not be what it is without you on it. You have something amazing and beautiful and just so magical within you. So when we honor ourselves, when we recognize ourselves, when we practice good self-care, when we take good care of ourselves, the result is that we have more to give. The result is that we are building ourselves up. We are giving and receiving. And that is the natural ebb and flow of the world. It happens all over the place in nature, doesn't it? The water comes in, it goes out. The water comes in, it goes out. Think about that. So we, by cutting off, and that's what we're doing, we're cutting off other people's abilities to give to us. We are also cutting ourselves off from that natural flow of nature. And over time, it can create some really ugly stuff. We talked about the physical things. If you are running on empty every single day, and we're going to get a little bit more into this in the next segment. If you're running on empty, you are not, number one, being your most effective self. You are probably not the most fun person to be around, and you may develop health issues, physical, mental, emotional, whatever. You may well develop those kinds of issues. There was a part of me, and I don't want to make this sound like it's because of a certain person, but there was a part of me that by the time my marriage ended, I was so depleted. It took me months to get back on my feet again. Months. Do you see what I'm saying? And what I understood as I was going through that healing process, what I understood was that this was sort of my own making. And it was important for me to require something in return for what I provide to others. I had created the circumstances that supported the belief system that I carried. I know it's a hard pill to swallow. Personal responsibility, radical personal responsibility is how I live my life now. It is not someone else's fault that I create my circumstances. I choose people. I choose work. I choose, like everything. You choose everything, whether you realize it or you don't. You are choosing everything that you bring into your world. Okay? Every person, every circumstance that you bring into your world, your money situation, the work that you do, all of that stuff, you are choosing that stuff, or you are choosing by not choosing. You are making a choice when you do not elect to do something differently. You are making a choice to stay in those circumstances. This is the stuff. It's not easy to talk about. This is not easy to talk about. It's not easy to look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, so you were the one who created this. What are you going to do to change it? But again, that's the good news, right? If we own that we are the ones who created our circumstances, that gives us the power to change them. That gives us the opportunity to shift things around in our world in a way that makes more sense. Now, I want to be really clear. I understand that there are sometimes circumstances that pop up that require us to sort of focus on, and I mean, this could be health, this could be there's been a death in the family, it could be a loved one who's gotten ill, it could be any number of different things. Okay, so sometimes We are faced with a circumstance that requires us to have a laser focus. And if that's a situation that you're working with right now, what I want you to hear me say is that it's not a bad thing to do this sometimes. It's not a bad thing to put yourself in that position where I know that this is what's required of me right now for my family, for my whatever. Where it becomes a problem is when it becomes a consistent thing. Okay. Where it becomes a problem is when it stops being the exception to the rule and it becomes the rule. That's where it becomes a problem. So short term, of course, there are things that come up that require us to do things in a different way. And that's okay. Okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up if you're in a circumstance like that. And do your best to get back into a routine where you are taking care of yourselves as soon as possible. All right. So we're going to leave it there for our next break. And when we come back, we are actually going to get into why is this so important? Why does this really matter? What can change for us and for the people around us when we are actually doing this thing of taking good care of ourselves? So I would encourage you to grab a pen and paper before we go into this, because this is going to be good. And again, email me at jackie@jackiemott.com or contact me through Facebook, and I will send you happily the article that I mentioned earlier. So you're with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. And I am your host, Jackie Mott. When we come back, we're going to keep going on this conversation about self-care. So stick with us for just a moment. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? Our subliminal soundtrack plays in the back of our minds 24/7. It's filled with everything we've ever learned about money, relationships, body, and sexuality, about every single aspect of our lives. If you don't have what you desire, the Subliminal Soundtrack Reset program may be the very key to changing it all. In this 8-week program, designed by Jackie Mott, you'll learn to replace messages that stop your desires with new ones that not only support you in creating what you truly desire, but expand your life to higher levels of joy and pleasure. Go to phoenixcoach.ca today to sign up and begin creating your life on purpose.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. Today, we are talking about why does self-care matter? And one of the things that I really want to focus on in this particular segment is breaking free of that idea that it is selfish, or that selfishness even is a bad thing. In the extreme, of course it is, but there are times when it is absolutely appropriate for you to be selfish, aren't there? Right. Right. We don't fault other people for these things. So, what if we could start to shift that and direct that same thing at ourselves? Mhm. Okay, so once again, Barbara is with me today. She's my producer. And she was just talking a moment ago about how she would really like this article because this is really ringing true for her. So once again, contact me, Jackie@jackiemott.com, or go to jackiemott.com and you can contact me through the website. Also go to Facebook, Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert, and just reach out, send me a message. Let me know that this is something of interest to you, and I will happily send you 5 reasons you need to be a top priority in your own life. This is where a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in this segment came from. I actually pulled that out and had a look at it, and some of this stuff is exactly what's in the article. But in the article, of course, it goes into a little bit more depth. So let's talk about this thing. So 5 reasons, right? The first one, you can't serve from an empty bucket. I've mentioned this so many times on the show. One of my friends used to say that to me, and that was one of the ones that I used to go, what do you mean? What do you mean, right? So what I started to understand later was this. So I want you to just perceive that this energy bottle, or this bottle is your energy reserve for the day, this bottle of water. Okay. So as you go through the day, you're drinking it and drinking it and drinking it and drinking it. But when you get to the end of that energy reserve, the bottle is empty. So what happens if we deplete ourselves all the way to the bottom and we still have stuff that we need to take care of? This is one of the things, okay? We still have things that need to be done. It is tax time for me. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy every year. It is what it is. I know what to expect. And I also know that if this bottle gets too low by the end of the day, then I'm not going to be able to do the things that I need to do. So our self-care helps to fill it. Okay. So maybe it's a thing where I need to have a conversation with a friend who makes me laugh. It's that simple. It's that simple. Okay. Taking a few minutes out of your day to do something that helps you recharge is as simple as it is. It can be a trip to a spa or someplace beautiful and lay on the beach for a week or go explore or whatever you want to do. It can be whatever it is, but it does not have to be expensive, and it doesn't require that we spend a week doing it. Okay. So again, this is our energy reserve. Now here's what happens. And this is where the health issues, the dis-ease in your body, your mind, your emotional self, that dis-ease comes because we've gone, okay, so now it's empty. Tomorrow I'm going to have this bottle, but I have to borrow from tomorrow. So now tomorrow, maybe we start here, and I'm still not replenishing my supply. Right. So by the end of the day, I've used up that whole thing. And now maybe the next day I'm starting with half a bottle because I've borrowed against those reserves for the next day. And that's what happens by the end of the week. If you're not doing something to replenish your energy reservoir and you keep borrowing from the next day and the next day and the next day, you're going to start with an empty bottle. One day you are going to start with an empty bottle. Now you don't have any energy. How are you going to accomplish what you need to accomplish? That's often where we start to get sick. And if you do this in a way that it is sort of the normal, right? It's not the exception to the rule. It becomes the rule in your life. Then you are constantly going to be either borrowing from another day or running on empty, which means you are not going to be effective. You are probably not going to be very good company. Because when we get to that point where we are thoroughly exhausted, we have nothing left to give ourselves, let alone anybody else. Right? And that's where we start to get sick. That's where these things, it feels sometimes like these are things that should be common sense. doesn't it? And for some reason, it's not. And that's because of those belief systems that tell us that we have to do in order to earn or be worthy of the love or attention of other people. So we have to figure out how to make ourselves a top priority in our lives. The second one is it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. There are things that you do well, and there are things that everyone else around you does well. Now, if you have, if you've chosen well, then everybody's got something that they can bring to the table, right? Everybody's got a unique gift that they can bring to the table. And I want to be clear, this does not have to be only the adults in your life. You could have a 3 or 4 year old child who is able to, with a stool, wash the apples for dessert or snack, or maybe you can even teach them how to put together a simple sandwich. These things that are not difficult, they can do them. And have you ever seen a kid when they've done something and you go, oh, that's a great job? Great job. You really helped, Mom. Have you ever seen a child's face when you do that? It makes them feel so good to be a contribution to you or to the family or to whatever it is. Okay. So when we allow ourselves to function from our gifts and other people to show up in their gifts, things just run so much more smoothly. They run so much more smoothly, don't they? So if you start to sort of separate the tasks out, maybe one child does dishes and one child washes the apples. I don't know. When you start to do those things, somebody helps carry the garbage out to the street, whatever. There are things that you are doing. If you are like me and what I used to be, there are things that you are doing that somebody else could help with. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all. And that leads to our next point. You are actually not helping anyone by trying to do it all yourself. It's not your job to make everything and everyone easy and wonderful for everyone else while you slowly crawl from your knees because you are so depleted from giving everybody else everything that they need. I want to be really clear, this selfish piece, okay? This selfish piece. This was something that, wow, when it hit me, I just went, wow, that is ridiculous. So we somehow may have an idea, I did, that it was selfish for me to take time for myself or spend money on myself or do things that were just for me. It was a selfish thing to do, and selfish is bad, right? Selfish is bad. Subliminal soundtrack, selfish is bad. So don't do that, because then people won't love you and they won't want to be around you and they won't want to give you what they give you. Okay. My subliminal soundtrack. Those were the kinds of things that were playing there. So how selfish really is it to allow other people to learn to be self-reliant? Are we not, by doing everything and not giving them an opportunity to learn how to do those things, are we not creating a place where they will have to be reliant on us? In my mind, that's more selfish than the other. If you have to rely on me because you can't do it for yourself, then I become indispensable, right? Which one is more selfish? Which one is more selfish? That I am teaching you to be self-reliant. I am requiring you to contribute something to our collective relationship, to our home, to our family, to our community, to our whatever. I will give you everything I can, but now in this new mindset, now I require that I receive something back. I no longer have any interest in relationships that are not reciprocal in any area of my life, in any area of my life. And this is what happens when you address those subliminal soundtrack messages. You start to come into your own empowerment and say, you know what? I'll give you everything I've got. And I deserve to. I deserve. Enough is not enough anymore. Okay? Enough is not enough. I want more. I want more joy. I want more laughter. I want more ease. I want more peace. I don't want my entire life to be all about work and doing for you so you don't have to do for yourself, because then you'll like me more. Are you understanding? It is so very, very, very important. Now, I'm sorry, I have to move on to the next point because we are, whew, I think that this should be a class. I think this should be a class. And don't forget, you can get the article free so you can get all of these tips. You are not and do not have to be Superman or Superwoman. You are not and do not have to be. Okay, remember, would you expect anybody else to do that? Would you expect anyone else on the planet to do everything for you? Would you? No, not if you're this person. This person doesn't expect anyone to do anything for them. So how are you teaching people how to treat you? Doormat. Well, she'll take care of it. Do I need to thank her? No. Do I need to appreciate it? No. Why would I have to appreciate it? She gives it without appreciation. Oh, yes. See? Are you hearing me? So no one can successfully carry all of the load for themselves and everyone else. No one. They might be able to do it in the short term. And sometimes we have to do it in the short term because circumstances have come up that require it. And that's okay. In the moment, it's okay. But don't let it become the normal everyday rule of thumb that you are the person who is carrying everything, because you will kill yourself in the process. And here's a really funny thing. So I did that for years and years and years and years and years and years, right? Am I married anymore? Did it work? Nope. No, it didn't. So value yourself at least as much as you will value other people. Now, here's something that's in that article that I want to read. What would happen if you took off the cape and tights and resigned as Superwoman and just became you? Would that allow you more space to function from? What I can promise you is that the mountains will not crumble and the earth will not go hurtling toward the sun. Would you be willing to consider that by simply honoring and taking care of yourself, you may relax and be much more fun to be around? And what could that change in your life, in your relationships with the people that you care about? Important thing to consider. The last point on this, you deserve it. You deserve to enjoy your life. You deserve to receive from others at least as much as you give them. You deserve it. And again, your mere presence on this planet is enough. You don't need to worry about being everything to everybody. You can do that. And honestly, I have no judgment. I'm just telling you what I had to change to make myself happier, to make my life easier. I'm just sharing that with you. If this doesn't work for you, that's okay. It's okay for you to continue to function in the way that I used to function, if that's what you choose for yourself. But also then be prepared, because you are making that choice. You are making the choice for yourself. Okay? You always have a choice. And if you choose to do what we're talking about and not make those changes, that's on you. It's up to you. But once again, if I allow myself to become a doormat, it's not their fault when they wipe their feet on me, is it? I'm sorry, guys. This is sort of, you're getting the Jackie that is just like truthful and honest and shoot from the hip. And I'm shooting from the hip because this is so friggin' important. If you don't get this, if you don't absorb this, if you don't start to think about it and even just consider it, nothing will change. You will continue to exhaust yourself, and your life will not ever be fun and joyful and all of that. You will not get out of life what you deserve. You will not get out of life what you deserve. So let's start to shift that. Let's start to create this idea that we are just as important as everyone else. Let me know if you're somebody that this is resonating with. I will happily send you this article. And Barbara has said, yes, 100% this should be a course. So I will get to work on creating that as soon as I get a couple of other things finished. And let me know that this would be a benefit to you. I will happily send you that article, and at least it will give you a starting point. So here's the thing. Self-care is a very individual thing. This was something I didn't really understand at first. It could be changes in diet. These are things that we hear about all the time, right? Like eat well. Okay. It could be physical activity. Maybe you need to exercise more. These are things we hear about all the time. Take care of your body. It could be an activity that you enjoy. Maybe it's a club or I don't know, crafts, whatever you like to do, sporting or sporting activities, networking. It could be any number of things. So it is very individualized. It could be getting a haircut or, some mani-pedi or something like that. It could be going to a spa for a week. It could be any number of things, meditating, just being in nature. I wash the dishes. I know it sounds really crazy, but that really helps me to slow down that stuff in my head. So it could be anything, the things that help you to feel more filled up. Okay. Whatever it is for you, it is vital that you make yourself a top priority in your own life. If you are a giver like me, you will have more to give when you are not depleting that bottle. Okay. At the end of the day, if you still have some left over, you have something to give someone else. So if you're a giver, you will have more to give. If you're a mother, you are setting an example. You are setting an example. Please hear this. It is so important for our young women to understand that they are of value, not because they can please anyone, but because they're here. They are of value. They are important. They are beautiful. They are strong. They are all of that kind of stuff. It is so important for us to make ourselves a priority because of the example we are setting for our children. And once again, we teach people how to treat us. So that is the time that I have for you today, my friends. Thank you so much for being with me. I've got a quote that I would like to leave you with. Self-care is a very individual thing. Whatever it is for you, it is vital that you make yourself a priority in your own life. We teach people how to treat us. We are also, especially as the mother or wife, modeling for the women we love. What kind of example would you like to be? It's your choice. What do you choose? What do you choose, my friends? That's what I've got for you today. Thanks again so much for being with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. Again, I am Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. And if you would like that 5 reasons you need to be a top priority in your own life. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I'm kind of off course now. If you would like that article, send me an email, jackie@jackiemott.com. Contact me through the website, jackiemott.com. Find me on Facebook, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. Send me a message. I will happily send that to you. And then let's take some time and make this into something that will be of value. We'll make this into a course or something, a workshop. I don't know. It'll be fun though. So we will be back next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific, I believe is how it goes. And next week, we're going to be talking about the importance of tribe. So there's this theme that's kind of going on. Self-care, the importance of tribe. Tribe can be a huge component of your self-care. So we're going to be talking about how important it is, the people that we bring into our world, the people that we allow to get close to us. How important is that? And how are you choosing? Who are you choosing? What are you choosing to bring into your world? So that's again next week, Friday, 1 p.m. We will be live. And then go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com to find all of the podcasts where you can see everything that we've ever recorded. So thank you so much again for joining me today. Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm so grateful for your time. I am Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert, your host. I love this so much. I look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. Jackie Mott will return next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Have a fantastic week, and remember, it's your time to rise and thrive.